Hello, my bun friends. It is 11:30 Mountain Time. I just don't sleep anymore. Jeremy has to be up not fairly early, like 8 o'clock, but he's asleep, and so I'm out in the living room. I'm actually working on editing a vlog now. See? Oh, there it is. Woo, pretty old. I hope I didn't just break my, okay. Anyway, I'm putting up like 2 different vlogs because this vlog I'm about to do is a little bit more personal. It is September 11th, and here in the United States that is a big deal because of the terrorist attacks that happened 12 years ago, I believe. Which is really, really kind of like just taking myself back. I'm like, oh, I was a 5th grader, like that's crazy. But what I wanted to do is kind of make a video about like what I remember most, and what I'll be doing to just kind of honor the people who have fallen, and why it is such an important event that we should continue to remember about. But anyways, here it goes. So I just moved to Wellsville, Kansas, my hometown. I moved from Kansas City, and I had started school there. I'd moved in the summer, but it was, September. And I remember this day a lot because there was a girl in my class whose birthday was that day. And I remember our teacher just kind of left the classroom, and we were kind of like at first all the kids were wild. Like I just remember like everyone just was like, oh yeah, teacher left the classroom. And then after a while it just kind of got weird because like it just was awkward and quiet, and we were just kind of sitting around, and she kind of came back in the room, and I remember she was very flustered. Like the rest of the day, we probably should have just gone home early because like there was definitely no way we were gonna get anything done. And anyways, I remember it was this girl's birthday because I remember she brought like cupcakes for the class to eat. We were kind of just sitting around like, when are we going to eat these? Because we had no idea what was going on. My brother was in 7th grade, so we got this note. Our counselor typed up this note, and they were like, you need to read this with your parents tonight. And we're like, what the? Like, kids just know when something's going on. And so that afternoon, my brother and I walked home. It's only a couple blocks, but my brother was like trying to tell me something happened. He was like, someone attacked the United States, and I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, we're all gonna die. And I was like, shut up, we're not gonna die. And like, I actually kind of got freaked out, and I didn't think too much of it because I was just like, oh, whatever, but the strange thing is when we got home and school got out at 2:45, and it probably took us 5 minutes to walk home. So we probably left the school at 2:50, but we probably got home by like 2:55, 3. Both my parents were home, which is unheard of. Like at the same time, before, usually my dad gets home about like 4:35, and my mom gets home about 4:35 as well. But they were both home at 3. So that was like the first sign. When we walked in, it was all over. They had the TVs going. My dad was like sitting up against the TV. My mom was sitting on the TV. My mom would look like she might have been crying. I just remember being like, I really have no idea what's going on. And my dad looked at me, my brother, and he's like, so what did they tell you at school? And my brother's like, they told us that, he's like, we watched it in the library. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. And my dad sat us down and was like, explained that, this terrorist attack had happened. He had explained to me what the word hijack meant, what a terrorist was. Like, I had no idea. And so it was really a family moment. We just sat there, and I remember being so glued to the TV. We never cooked dinner that night. No one was like complaining about anything. I didn't do homework. We just sat by the TV, and when we were sitting there, I just remember watching people jump out of the Twin Towers, like from the top, and just jump to their death. And I remember sitting there thinking, what causes this? Like, what, like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, there were people dying on TV. I had been to like 1 or 2 funerals of my great-grandparents, but like, I'd never really thought about death or anything. Like, I guess you're at that age when you're in 5th grade, you just think it's not going to happen. And it did. like, people were just jumping out and dying. And at that moment I was scared, because I seriously thought, like, you read in history books about wars. I thought we were going to go to war. People were going to come to U.S. soil and, do all this bad stuff to us. And so, like, later that night, like, I just knew I couldn't sleep. My dad took me outside, and we sat on our back porch, and he was just like, look up. And I looked up, and he was like, this is probably the only night in history that you will never see a plane in the sky. And, like, that moment to me was so big. I can't even describe it. Like, I mean, it was just like that moment of realization that our country had been attacked, and it was very, very hurtful. And then the next day, school just was, for the, like, next few weeks, like, I just felt horrible for my teacher, because as a person who got their elementary degree, I couldn't imagine telling my kids that I student taught, like, how do you explain it to them? And so it was very, it was just emotional at my family's house. Like, and what's crazy is my little cousin's in 5th grade this year, and, she's very, very bright, but this, I think of, like, what it would be like if she saw this, and, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it would, well, it's funny, I guess I haven't really blogged about my thoughts about Syria, but, Jeremy knows I'm quite clear, but I'm not going to try to go off on a tangent on that, because this video is not about Syria. This video is just about remembering the people who died and gave their life and stuff. But I just remember being glued to the TV. And I think that's the first moment in my life that I really, like, it felt like an American, like, it takes, when you're in love with your country, like, as kids, like, we're taught, like, 4th of July, shoot off the fireworks, but you never really have to, like, go through anything, and, like, unless your dad was a police officer or a firefighter, and, they gave their life, but, like, I never really thought about it, but that was the moment that I had been so patriotic, and it was a very big deal to me. I didn't lose anybody. I don't know anybody that did, or at least they've never told me. But what I do know is there were a lot of great men and women. There were teachers in the classrooms that day who were strong and remained strong, because I really don't know how I would have done that. There were firefighters, police officers, the people who took over the plane in Pennsylvania. To me, it just was so heroic, everything that happened that day. Even if we weren't in, like, I was in Kansas, like, that state wasn't, like, directly affected, but there were so many heroes that day. My parents, my teachers, like, they did what they needed to do to protect me. They were ready to, like, lay their life down for me, and that was just amazing. But just these men and women that sacrificed their life. There was a video, and I'm going to try to link it in the comments below. I posted it, like, a couple years ago, but it talks about the 9/11 kids who lost their parents that day, and all of them were, like, my age. They're my age right now, and it's just, to me, it's just, like, I know how important it was in 5th grade to have my dad there, to have my mom there, and if I would have lost them, like, that would have been horrible. No one wants to lose their parent and stuff, but it's just a day that we need to, like, reflect on and not forget. And it does kind of suck. I said I was going to bring up Syria, but it does kind of suck because of what's going on in Syria right now. But it is important that we remember, like, what happened that day, and we remember those people, because that's what we owe it. We owe it to them. We owe it to them to remember what they did for us, how they lost their lives. So that's kind of what happened and what I remember, it's just what I remember the most. And I'd like to hear from you guys what you remember. Message me on Facebook, comment on Facebook, send me something on Twitter. Let me know what you remember. If you want to feel like you need to vent, comment below. I would love to hear from you. I plan tomorrow on just kind of reflecting on the day. And I know this sounds stupid, but like every year I used to watch documentaries about it. Like the stories never change, the time never changes, what happened doesn't change, but every year you watch those documentaries, and to me it's just kind of something that's just saying like I'm still remembering, and that's why I watch them. So I might watch a couple documentaries, and I'm not sure if the base is doing anything. I'm sure they are, but I would like to go to that. It's the least I can do. So that's just kind of what it is. I'm sorry this video wasn't as like happy-go-lucky as normal, but it was a very important day in American history, and I think we would be foolish not to remember it. So I do appreciate you listening. I'm not a person that prays. It's just I don't necessarily believe in God. However, I do believe like in a higher power of strong feelings. So I believe like I can, whatever. If I send thoughts your way, like if I think about you, then good things can happen. It's kind of like a prayer, I guess. But so I always say like thoughts are with you. But I also do believe that prayer works for some people. Like, and so thoughts and prayers, I guess tomorrow or today, because it is today for some people. But, yeah, so God bless. I love everybody. And I'll try to do a more update video, but like I said, give your thoughts and, shake a soldier's hand or a policeman's hand or even a firefighter's hand. Even though they weren't there, they lost somebody in their line of work. So, all right, God bless. I love you all. Appreciate you staying up late with me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.